Hello, is it just me, or is this deja vu, as they say?
A deja vu is usually a glitch in the matrix. It happens when they change something.
But when we see things repeating in the stock market, to me, it's a sign of money rotation, whether naturally induced or situation driven. It's simply another great opportunity to load the boat. Palantir is now trading sub $20, yes, sub $20, and so as a simple investor into one of the potential behemoth companies of the future, where do I see the stock going in the lead up to 2022? Stay tuned for this deep drill and more. Keep it simple. Well. I say, if you're lacking poise, then drown out the frickin' noise. The news is all but spelling disaster and market crash syndrome, but since we are simple investors, then let's just look at what the heck has changed for Palantir that justifies a sub $20 share price. And for me, that's not a lot. I believe Palantir on the fringe of ending 2021 with projected and reiterated revenue growth targets of 40% to $1.5 billion in revenues will have an immense 2022, and the clues are in the recent Alex Karp interview. Remember, I ain't no financial advisor, I'm only a simple trader, so no more plugging and let's start drilling. Okay, for those in the know, I think we can officially call Palantir
as a pandemic.
Why? Because the recent continued viral expansion of Palantir's business into huge sectors spells a takeover that is continuing to move in stealth. This is what I saw happening in my first drill into Palantir. Things are starting to fall right into place, and my thesis keeps giving me more and more bullish clues. Talk to anyone who doesn't know about Palantir and they will have no clue what could be pulling many strings behind their everyday lives right now and potentially moving forwards. But trust me, in the future, it may well be Palantir driven. I simply cannot just make this up. So let's just dive into some of the key recent wins that are all adding up to form a giant network of control. December 2nd, Palantir announces a multi-year partnership with Kinder, who are one of the largest energy infrastructure companies in North America, meaning sooner rather than later, Palantir's AI will have direct access to data, but more importantly, control over Kinder's data streams, analysis and operations over supply, grid integrity, customers and pricing. Isn't it quite scary that one day Palantir's software AI system platform will be able to control the largest energy infrastructure company in North America? On the same day, Palantir announced they secured a $43 million contract from Space Systems Command, Cross Mission Ground and Communications Enterprise. This is to continue, notice the word continue, meaning already deployed, continue its delivery of a data and decision platform to support national security objectives. This is some top secret government contract that I'm surprised they could actually release such info about, but all good with me. According to Reuters on the 7th of December, this article says Palantir and a German chip chemical supplier Merck enters into an agreement to solve chip industry supply chain problems. This is a sitting goldmine since Merck are pending a $52 billion aid package to be passed by the US in order for them to expand and spend $1 billion through 2025 for sites in Arizona, California, Texas and Pennsylvania. This could literally blow up big. We all know about the worldwide chip production and shortages as tech is driving a new industrial revolution. We all know that the US will be keen to bring back chip technology to the US, and so this partnership could potentially be explosive. December 12th, this article in the Korea Times states Palantir has invested $20 million into the Hyundai Oil Bank, who are an oil refining company but are expanding into petrochemicals and hydrogen. This is not the first time that Palantir has partnered with them, and they did so first back in 2019. The continued trend of customers extending or simply continuing to employ the Palantir services just speaks massive volumes about what Palantir can actually do for any company. On December 9th, Palantir announces a partnership with Station F, who are the world's largest startup campus, which means one thing and one thing only. Palantir wants to advance, seize control, and integrate themselves into any future big startup company. So just like in Lord of the Rings, a Palantir is an all-seeing eye, and that is what Palantir themselves are doing right now. What should be concerning for any company as an investor is to see big insider selling of the stock. This is what we have been seeing from Palantir since they went public and the expiration of the lockup period. Now, although this is not necessarily a bearish indicator, we are seeing a slowdown of this since Q2, and the selling is actually moving in a downward trend. CEO Karp himself has explained in multiple interviews that one reason they did go public was to provide their staff with this precise access to liquidity.
We are very, very focused on being fully aligned with our clients and fully aligned with people who own our stock. What does that mean in the real world? It means that we will continue to be very focused on delivering value. We will continue to comp people, and I don't believe we're deluding people into oblivion. I thought it was pretty interesting, by the way, about the analysts, many of whom are highly substantive and attuned to our product, is de facto they're saying what the generals used to say to us: build the product we can understand, and then we'll reward you with capital. We're building the product our clients need and the world needs, and we believe over time, and we've already seen this, the world will reward us and will reward our shareholders. And that's basically our view. Right?
But is this the reason for the downward trajectory of the stock? Well, let's put it in context. There was a total so far this year of around $500 million worth of stock sold by insiders according to Market Beat. But when you consider that ARK Invest alone has invested close to $900 million worth of stock on paper, then you realize this insider selling is rather insignificant. Throw in the mix that institutions are still loading the boat on Palantir, and similarly, the retail following of Palantir is clearly strong, and there is no other explanation for such a massive dumping of the stock, right? Well, for me the clues are in the FINRA dark pool short volume ratio, which has not been lower than 34% going back some days, and the most sickening statistic in fact is the failure to delivers, which are astronomical. Look at this. On the 18th of October there were a reported $3 million worth of stock in fails to deliver. That is simply insane, meaning it's plausible and highly probable that significant manipulation right here is working overdrive to pummel the stock and keep it down. As simple investors, and this ain't no financial advice, but if you believe in Palantir like I do as a company for the long term, these are the times where bargain deals are available to load in if you can afford to, or even just starting a small position. Alex Karps recently joined the Reagan National Defense Forum. Holy smoke. Doesn't this just speak volumes as to where and why Palantir are extending their real motives and reach out? How can a software company CEO sit in this kind of forum talking about AI unless it's real?
Well, thank you. I'm hugely honored to be here on stage in front of people who serve our nation. In software, America is the #1 nation in the world, bar none. There is really no number two. Number two is Israel, because there has to be a number two. AI is equally as transformational. And you need this combination between people that know the material, that's the people on stage, and people who can extend what they're doing, and also people, in my case, I'm really good at managing really complicated, difficult people. And so that's what I do for a living. And that, then you get this thing where nobody can, and of course there are these enormous, where no one can imagine they're not number one. And that should be our standard. And if that's the standard, and then most of the issues we have in America are not actually because of adversaries, it's because of internal divisions and not being able to agree on certain things. This is why the shift here, agreement, America having consensus on anything is very powerful. And we haven't had that for lots of reasons you can debate, but we do have it now. And then there's the cultural, why is America so good at software? Well, we actually play fair in teams. We have highly technical people. We're goal-oriented, and we are willing to admit we're wrong and not be stained by failure when we screw up. So I think what we need to do is continue on this trend. I think U.S. government officials should really say loudly to people they want to work with who are developing software that they must supply the best software in the world to them. I think we in industry, by the way, it's often framed as you framed it, but I would say from my vantage point, there are certain technical issues like how do you do AI at the edge? How do you actually create an all-encompassing environment, which is what we're doing with a lot of industry in the Western world, but where the data is segmented. So if you have a global industry, you're not going to be able to hit the data store in France, Korea, America.
To summarize, Palantir keeps getting stronger with each passing quarter, but the shorts are also going shorter. But take the case of Tesla, and the truth will set the stock free. Give it time, and like all good wines, the era of Palantir will dawn upon us when we least expect it to in the near future. Thanks for watching, and please note, Palantir is a stock where you can throw the stock price out of the window. Simply put, sub $30 in my opinion is and was a consistent steal, but the fact that the market recently tanked and the tech stocks have all been taking a rather big beating, and in Palantir's case been technically pummeled to sub $19, means this is now not a joke. It is literally New Year's sales right now, so please take this drill with precaution and always do your own DD. If you found this video informative, then do me a simple favor and consider just consider subscribing to my channel so you get a pop-up when a new video is uploaded. I am a simple trader. I try to keep this simple and will simply see you in the next video.